Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Digital Service Squad webinar. My name is Ben Frisch with your local Digital Service Squad, and today we are joined by Karen Gibson, Amy Kells, and Rochelle Reynolds from our team. And today we're talking about boosting your marketing with AI, artificial intelligence. It's a super hot topic right now, of course, and always changing. So it's probably going to be out of date in a couple of weeks, but it's, lots of different tools that we're going to talk about and strategies that can just really help you to be more efficient with your marketing in the day-to-day. And of course, just a quick shout out to the Ontario government, the Ontario BIA Association, and the Toronto Association of BIAs for making the Digital Main Street program possible. And as a reminder, we are available for individual consultations and support. There's grant funding available to Ontario-wide businesses, of course. And so we are available and more than happy to connect with local businesses to tell you more about the program, ways that we can help, and hopefully get you to apply, get your applications in for those grants. And you can connect with us. We're managed locally in South Georgian Bay by the South Georgian Bay Small Business Enterprise Center, and in Grey County by the Grey County Business Enterprise Center. And we're sort of all over the place. Feel free to connect, book those consults. We're going to put the booking link in the chat for you so that as we go along, if you have additional questions or a need for support, you can save that link, follow that link, and book those consults. And as a reminder as well, we always try to make these pretty even middle ground in terms of the skill level required. So we are going to not necessarily get too technical, but so if you find that we're getting too technical for you or not technical enough, another great reason to book those consults. So with that out of the way, let's talk about marketing, boosting your marketing with artificial intelligence. So what we're talking about today, of course, boosting your marketing with artificial intelligence, but we want to cover some of the limitations of current AI tools. They're not perfect, and you have to know how to use them in order to use them effectively. So we want to cover off that. We're going to look at what are some of those key platforms that we're going to be talking about. There are a ton of them out there, but we're only going to talk about just a small handful for the purpose of our webinar today. And then specifically, we're going to jump into how we can actually apply these tools to your marketing efforts and improving things like content marketing, search engine optimization, your website content, email marketing, social media, and advertising. And by the way, as we go along, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, or we've got the Q&A open as well, and we'll try and answer those as we go. So we've got the link here, by the way, to our booking calendar in the chat for everyone. So the first thing we want to talk about when it comes to the limitations of AI, I don't know if anyone has seen this video before. It is wildly terrible. It's just, it's actually really awful, but it's disturbing. Funny. Sorry?
It's disturbing.
It's a little disturbing, but in an interesting way to really understand, like, where are we at in terms of AI advertising, marketing creation. This just came out recently. It is an AI generated video ad for what's supposed to be a beer commercial. Like, let's check it out. There's not going to be any sound because it's a copyrighted song, so just keep that in mind. But here we go. If you can see it. So, I mean, at first glance, you might be thinking like, oh, okay, it's not that bad, but it gets really crazy with just odd things. You know, the thing about AI is that it is just compiling information about what it understands about how things should appear, how they should be, and it just really missed the mark on that. So we're not quite there in terms of video content, but I wanted to share that as a funny example of where we are not. But so when we talk about the current limitations, you know, the copywriting tends to be more actually usable. So because we have image creation, we have video creation, they're not quite there yet in terms of being totally usable. I mean, some of those are, some of them are not. But what I really want to point out is that so much of what you get out of it depends on the input. So how you make that request to the AI system, is going to be what you get out of it, essentially. So the more detail that you give it, the more context, the better the output is going to be. And we'll talk more about how to approach that as we go through some of our examples. But another limitation is that, Chat GPT, for example, knowledge only goes back to 2019, I believe. So essentially, like, they scraped the internet for information up until 2019, and then use that to build this language model. So sometimes when you ask it questions about, modern day events, it doesn't know or doesn't understand that some things might have changed, or, like it doesn't, it isn't able to compute the more recent events, essentially. So with that in mind, we always say that copy should be edited and fact checked. So if you are generating copy from these systems, you always want to edit them and fact check anything that's coming out of it, because again, that knowledge base might be out of date. I have seen lots of examples of different AI systems giving just wildly inaccurate advice, facts. And so, there is still a place for Google, I think. We're not done with it yet. But so when we talk about the different AI tools that are available, there's almost too many to mention, especially, when it comes to this space of marketing, and, time management, just tasks, filling tasks and creating content. There's a ton of platforms out there. Most notably, though, Chat GPT, of course, is the most successful product launch in history, in that it gained more users faster than anything else. It was adopted faster than anything else in history, which is pretty incredible. And so, of course, like, Chat GPT is just a language model, meaning it will provide text outputs based on your inputs. Talking a little bit more about the limitations, one thing that always annoys me when I read a lot of, or see a lot of articles about technology and AI and stuff, and I always get annoyed when they, use the headline like, I asked Chat GPT what it thinks about this, and it's like, it doesn't think. It's a computer, and it's giving you an output, or it's giving you an output based on a lot of other information that's out there. So it's just compiling that together and giving you, the most sort of reasonable response based on the information that it has gathered and based on what you've asked it for. So that, I think, really has to be taken into context. But when we talk about language models, Jasper is another really great tool. So Chat GPT, of course, is free to use. There is an upgrade now for a paid sort of membership version, but Jasper is a paid only platform that's been around a bit longer, I believe, but I actually have a membership to that one. So we're going to take a look at that just as a comparison, because I think it's a really great, useful tool for generating copy and a lot of the other sort of types of marketing content that we're going to be talking about today. Some other tools, there's different like logo creation tools, image creation tools. So, logomaster.ai is a logo generator. Midjourney is a very popular image generator. Probably one of the most popular. But that one is paid, right, Karen? Yeah, I think you've used it more than any of us.
Yeah, it is. I have a membership, but it's like $8 a month, and you get so many hours. So, and it was only because, again, I'm not using it for anything but just for fun, and the free only allowed for so much fun. So I thought, okay, you know what, for $8 a month, I'll just, it's just something to do. I have not used, I've used a couple of things for social media, but that's about it.
Nice. And then another one, vibes.com. Amy was doing some research, found this email creator, email content tool. Is that what it is, Amy?
Yeah, I think it's actually prompts. I'll have to look into that. I think there's a little bit more to that URL. So let me take a look just quickly, and then I'll let you know. But yeah, it is email.
Okay.
Email generated.
Okay. We'll make sure we correct that before we send out the PDF to anyone. But so essentially, going back to the limitations and the strengths of these AI tools, where we are currently is that I think, the language models like Chat GPT and Jasper are some of the most effective tools that we can use to boost our marketing right now. So that's where we're going to focus on today, is mostly just our those ChatGPT and Jasper, and looking at how we can use those tools to create better content and better ideas, and just get us moving in terms of keeping that marketing machine turning. So first off, want to talk about some best practices. And again, I mentioned this earlier, like the output you get is only as good as the input that you give it and the information. So, what's best is always to be as specific as possible with your inputs. You want to provide context, additional references where possible. So, a good example of that, a good example of references is potentially when, image generation. A lot of people will suggest to create an image in the style of a particular artist. And so, having that reference is going to really influence the output that you get, and therefore, probably get something closer to what you are looking for, hoping for. And the same goes for the language models. So anytime you can give it some reference points, if you want it written in the style of another writer, or another good example is like providing it with the tone of voice for what you want. Is it should it be excited? Should it be professional? Providing those kinds of providing that kind of information is going to really help it with that output. And again, the more information that you provide, the more informed the AI will be, and the better your response. And I see actually we do have a question over here, just real quick. What does OpenAI mean? OpenAI is just the name of the company that developed Chat GPT. So that's all that is. So that's why Chat GPT is at, that's, I think, their URL. And then OpenAI also does have an image generator. It is just like that beer commercial, like laughably bad. So, it's one of those things, like Karen said, it's fun to play with and see, what it's capable of. But I think, we're still very far away from being able to just like generate all kinds of, stuff for your social media and your website for image wise.
It can work. But again, like it's been said, your prompts or the words that you put in, the text you put in, has to be really specific, even as far as what kind of lens you're going to use in the camera, sort of like, because you're trying to get an image. So you have to be really specific. And just keep in mind, all these things, I think the best use of the word or image creation is for ideation.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. Ideate gives you some ideas and concepts to go forward with.
Absolutely. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. And I think that's where we are going to start. So when we talk about content marketing, so ways that we can improve or boost our content marketing with the help of AI, is just with some, coming up with ideas in terms of blog post ideas. You might ask ChatGPT, what are some blog post ideas for, this type of business that focuses on, maybe this type of client or this problem they're having. Again, more context, the better. And it's going to just give you, a whole list of blog post ideas, and then you can take some, leave some. You can edit that list however you want. You can revise your input. If it didn't give you quite what you're looking for, make some changes. Try it again. This is a 30-second exercise essentially, and it can really help you to build out your content calendar, and even planning. A whole content calendar can be a really efficient use of these tools as well. And then writing copy. So we'll get into more specifically like examples of copywriting. And I'm going to dive into ChatGPT, I think, maybe after this next slide. But essentially, again, I want to provide another disclaimer here to say that, when it comes to writing copy, you could write entire blog posts. Like that is an option. However, will it be any good? That's a big question mark. And, it really depends on what you're trying to do. But what I always suggest to anyone is, you should always be editing to provide your personal voice, your perspective, and your insights. I've created a lot of blog posts with the help of Chat GPT and Jasper. But then, you know, especially when I'm trying to write a blog post about, you know, my particular insight in my industry, these tools, you know, don't always hit the mark. They often miss the mark by quite a while, a distance. So I'm editing that copy extensively, making sure that I'm hitting the points that I think are important, so that it, you know, follows more of my my own personal voice. And then additionally, you know, if you're writing any kind of copy, we always recommend that you use an SEO tool. So a search engine optimization tool. An example of this is, you know, if you have a WordPress website, there's Yoast SEO, there's Rank Math, two really great ones that we often recommend. They're plugins. They have free versions, and what these are going to do is they're going to analyze that copy, whether you wrote it, whether a bot wrote it, it doesn't matter. They're going to analyze it and tell you, you know, what you need to do to make it better for search engine optimization, which is key no matter what you're doing. And so what that's going to do is, I mean, it's going to force you to edit some more. Like, you're going to go through, you're going to add your own kind of personal perspective and voice, and then you're going to edit that based on the suggestions of your SEO tool. And that's when, you know, you'll get that content to a much better place that is more usable, more effective as a blog post. Because again, you could spit it out, you know, a whole blog post and post it, but will it be effective? Probably not. And just to kind of dispel maybe some myths too, I think, around that exact process. Like, I know I've heard a lot of people talk about, you know, this idea that Google will penalize you if you are creating content with AI. And I mean, I don't know for a fact that that's not true, but I would say, from my experience, like, Google doesn't need to penalize you for, you know, creating content with a bot, because good content is good content is good content. So, I mean, if you're publishing bad content, it doesn't matter if a bot wrote it, if you wrote it, like, it's not going to serve you. Google's going to, you know, send less traffic or no traffic your way. So, I don't believe that, you know, writing copy with the help of an AI tool will get you penalized, but I do believe that that copy, you know, won't always be great. So you need to edit it and make sure that it is good and that it is optimized for search engines. And, you know, so the same rules apply that we've always been preaching about good copy. And that's just something to keep in mind. That's your disclaimer for the day. So let's talk about, so moving right along with our marketing initiative. So a lot of this too, you know, what we're trying to do is suggest is that, you know, we're saving time. We're saving a lot of time in generating ideas, in sitting down to write all this stuff out, to create these types of content. Search engine optimization is a great application for these types of language models, where we're doing a lot of repetitive work to fill space with keywords, meta descriptions, and image alt text. And so by getting an AI tool to provide some of this information, or even, again, just provide us some ideas to get us working in that direction, you don't always have to use everything that it spits out. You can just kind of pick and choose what you think is most appropriate. And, you know, edit it. But again, it just like keeps you moving. Like, you know, you've created a meta description for your website. And actually, so one cool thing, I did this with a client the other day. We just needed a meta description because we noticed there was one missing on her website. So I had Jasper write a meta description just in 2 seconds. And it was exactly the right number of characters that is allowed in the meta description. And that was amazing. I mean, that like, and it was also pretty good, you know, in terms of like the copy. So it saved, you know, several minutes. And then especially when you're doing these things over and over and over again, trying to optimize your website, making sure all of your pages have meta descriptions, all of your images have alt text. If we just go to Chat GPT or Jasper, whatever, you know, we can have this content generated in a matter of seconds and away we go. So our websites, of course, you know, again, we've got headers, body copy, and e-commerce product descriptions. I think e-commerce product descriptions probably, again, one of the a really great way to save time, because that's one thing we notice a lot of when we do audits of especially e-commerce websites that have a lot of products. It is something that can get overlooked by business owners when they create that website. It is a big task to create and write all of those product descriptions and get them on the page. And so, you know, just having that AI tool generate it for you in a matter of seconds can actually, you know, can be the difference between getting it done and not getting it done at all, which is, you know, a big difference.
And for headers, it's awesome because, you know, like that usually header, well, I'm just thinking about the hero header, you know, before the scroll down to the next part of the web page. It can create some really interesting headers for your hero section, especially if you ask them for, you know, give me 10, and you can pick, and it comes up with some really interesting ones based on the prompts that you've given it. Something that might attract attention. That's what you're going for, right? For a hero header. So yeah, it's really good for that.
Yeah. And then again, you know, email marketing, we've got some applications for that, again, to be like subjects, body copy, and then even sales emails. You know, if you're sending a lot of like cold emails, outreach, sales, that kind of thing, it can help generate the copy for that, and just sort of take a lot of the pressure off. I actually have a a Chrome extension for Jasper that follows me around the internet. You don't see it here, but it's usually floating around, that will allow me to, it's on my other monitor actually, but it will allow me to just like apply AI text copy wherever needed, and even reply to emails, which I've only done like once or twice because usually it kind of misses the mark. But it is a possibility to just hit a button and have your email written for you, which when we do get there, because we will, I'm going to be very happy about that, not having to think about writing emails all the time. And you know, there are some actual email marketing tools that have AI incorporated into them, right? So you don't always have to go outside to Chat GPT or Jasper. You know, a lot of these tools are starting to develop their own AI models and incorporating that into their systems to be more competitive, to be more sort of cutting edge, and to really kind of set themselves apart. So yeah, just be on the lookout for those as well. And then advertising, we've got, very similarly, headlines, body copy, and keyword suggestions. When we're searching for, or when we're creating Google search ads, keywords are a big component to that. And, just thinking about trying to put yourself into your customers' shoes in terms of what they're actually searching for. It can always be a bit of a task. And so, relying on or just heading on over to Chat GPT, Jasper, getting some suggestions is something that we recommend trying if you're setting up search ads. Oh, Jason is trying to sign into Chat GPT now, getting an error message on his phone. It looks like this phone number is a landline. Please provide a valid non-landline phone number to continue. Any thoughts? No, I'm not sure why it might be saying that. You might try on your desktop, see if it gives you any different messaging there. Hopefully that would be a workaround there. Before we get into any questions, let's hop over to ChatGPT here real quick and just talk about some actual concrete examples. So, this platform is very straightforward. It's just a chat function where we've got our dialog box at the bottom, and we've got the chat happening as it comes together, sort of flowing top to bottom. And we can save different chats that we've had with the system here on the side. So I will show a couple that I've done in the past. But here's one that's interesting, right? And again, talking about how important it is to really put the right wording into your prompt. I started with this one. Can you plan my Instagram posts for the month of June for my video production business? Suggest what to post along with post copy and hashtags. So trying to be really specific there about what I want out of this. I want to try and generate like a full social media marketing plan, right? A marketing calendar. But it came back with, as an AI language model, I'm not able to create custom content for specific individuals or businesses. Basically, I think it was, it understood that I was trying to get it to maybe create posts or like post content for me, which is not what I wanted. So I made a slight, just the smallest word change. I said, can you create a plan for my Instagram posts? Instead of, can you plan my Instagram posts? Can you create a plan for my Instagram posts? And all the same background. And it came back with, certainly, here's a simple plan for your Instagram posts for the month of June for video production business. And it goes through, and this is actually pretty good. Like, we've got week one, we got 3 days a week, day 1, day 3, day 5. It's suggesting like what the image content should be. And some hashtags. Oh, and it did miss the mark though by it's saying use the post copy to explain what you're working on. So, I mean, I guess, yeah, that makes sense because it doesn't actually have the image. It can't necessarily write the post copy for an image that it doesn't fully understand or know. So that kind of works still. But so yeah, we got week 1, 2, and 3, 4. So it's all there. It's pretty extensive. And this took less than 30 seconds to generate. even with my sort of my initial prompt that didn't quite go anywhere. And I think it actually kind of broke it originally, if I recall. Is it
I
okay
like what it said about use high quality. Where was that? At the very end, it said use high quality
Oh yeah, visuals.
visuals in all your posts and to engage with followers by responding to comments and messages, which is what we always write in everybody's audit.
Yeah, for sure. Right. It's
Just a reminder.
yeah, just a reminder. Like it's sort of going above and beyond, which is kind of wild. Like we didn't ask for that. It's just saying, you know, by the way, here's some helpful advice.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so there's a question, is it okay to provide Chat GPT with a target audience so it knows who it is writing for? Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, the more you put in it, the better your output is going to be. So if you can specify, yeah, the audience, any of those demographics, what interests them, what age range they are, it's all going to take that into consideration for sure. How are we doing for time? 40. Okay. You know, another thing I was experimenting with actually was a little bit more on the side of like IT support. So I was asking Chat GPT how to create some additional fields within a Shopify product. And so this was kind of interesting. I even included like code. So I was looking to try and code something, and it gave me, you know, this JavaScript code, told me where to put it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to actually implement it because when I went to look for where to post it, you know, it was telling me to put the code in this one spot. I couldn't find it. And I said, is this an upgrade feature? And it came back with yes. So it neglected to tell me that I needed to have that upgrade in order to make this implementation. So I'm still looking for a, you know, an opportunity to have it write code for me, but I'm sure I will get to that point someday soon. I want to jump over to Jasper too. So again, Jasper is a language model similar to Chat GPT, but there are actually a lot more tools that are available, and it's a little bit more structured. That's what I like about Jasper. Even though this is a paid subscription, again, they have what they call templates. So this is what I mean in terms of like structure. So they kind of give you that starting point of like, here's what I want to create. So you select your template based on what it is that you're looking to create. And there's a ton of templates. So everything from Amazon product descriptions, blog post intro paragraph. They have, you know, ones for just blog post topic ideas, content improver. So you can actually take a paragraph that you've already written or someone else wrote, or, you know, Chat GPT wrote, plunk it in here, and it will rewrite it and improve it. There's ones to explain like complex sort of ideas to a child, which is pretty cool. So it'll put this complex system explanation into simple words, hopefully better than myself because I'm tripping over my own words here, but you get the idea. So there's a ton of these different templates, and I'll pop into one of them just to show you sort of how it works. So I'll go with blog post intro paragraph. So, and this is what I'm talking about in terms of structure that I really like, is that, you know, it sort of walks you through necessary steps of providing that prompt with better information for a better output. So, you know, we start with the blog post title, you know, 5 video marketing tips, strategy tips for small business. Again, you know, addressing that question, you know, audience. This one actually specifically asks for what is the audience, who's going to be, who are we speaking to? In this particular case, I'm going to say small. And these drop-down options are just because I've written these things in here before. So you can put whatever you want in. Tone of voice, you know, professional, but excited. I don't know. Try that. And then what's cool is you can generate multiple outputs. So we could do 1, 2, 5, however many we want, and we can compare. We can take some, you know, we can edit them together, you know, whatever we want to do with what parts of them we like and what we don't like. So I'm going to do 2, and I'll just generate and show you right there. We can sort of pick and choose which one we like, which one we don't like. Are there parts of one we do? And we can edit that however we want. Another thing I wanted to show here as well. So Jasper also released their own chat function to sort of compete with Chat GPT. And you can see I've used it here. So yeah, one of my favorite things about Jasper compared to Chat GPT is this button right here. So in the chat function, I mean, there is an include search toggle switch. But what's really cool about that toggle switch is that it will provide references. So it actually, you know, when we talk about Chat GPT providing potentially incorrect or invalid information, this one will actually provide context. So it'll show you where it got this information from, which is pretty incredible. Bing, because Microsoft is an investor in OpenAI, they've incorporated ChatGPT into Bing.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, it sounds like that could be a really great sort of partnership as well, especially if you're getting those reference points, because that to me is something that's really missing from ChatGPT, that that both this and, you know, potentially Bing have as a major benefit.
Especially if you're doing research for something, right? Like
That's it.
You have to show your reference points, right? So it's a really good tool. Well, for anybody who's taking any courses or anything like that, you know, you can't just write anything. You have to have reference points.
I'll give a minute there. If there are no questions, we can leave it there. Like we said, you know, if you have any follow-up questions, if you start to play with these tools and want more info about how you can incorporate them into your sort of day-to-day marketing efforts, you can definitely book a consultation with us at the link that we put in the chat, and it's there as well, getdigitalsupport.as.me. And that's all.
And don't we have another webinar next week? Is it the effective website webinar?
Yes, building better websites coming up next week.
Just to remind anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Be sure to register for that. And we've got a full schedule from now until the end of June, where we're going to be covering off some previous topics and then even redoing some of those and updating some. And so check out our Facebook pages, the events sections there for all the details, all the registration links. And it's going to be awesome. Lots more coming over the next 2 months. And yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. And we will see you next time. Bye for now.